warned you that age verification was going to ruin the internet. And we were right. And now they're coming after VPNs. The internet as we know it is going to drastically change as online ID checks, or so-called age verification, threatens online anonymity and access to information. And since VPN use has surged in response to the UK's version of the Kids Online Safety Act, their government is looking into ways to ban VPNs. VPNs, or virtual private networks, allow us to circumvent methods of control. And present governments would love to ban them in order to control what we do or see online. What we're seeing happen in the UK with UCOSA is exactly why we've been warning against the passage of the Kids Online Safety Act for the last several years. It's also why we've been running a national campaign with dozens of other human rights, reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights, and youth advocacy groups against online ID checks and age verification. These methods of control don't protect kids. They increase the government's control over them. At a time when young people are protesting for their right to free speech, to end wars and genocides, and having to use the internet to access information about abortion, gender-affirming healthcare, and find other resources that have been banned in their schools and libraries. This week we launched a new campaign calling on world governments to defend VPNs. Click the link in our bio to take action. If you aren't using a VPN already, we highly recommend that you start. In other news, you might have heard of Francesca Albanese, a United Nations Special Rapporteur. Her recent report on economy of occupation to economy of genocide revealed how big tech has been both profiting off of and fueling human rights violations against Palestinians under Israeli occupation. This report apparently pushed the US government over the edge, as it made an unprecedented move to sanction her, undermining the independence of the UN Special Procedure System. That's why we've signed on to a joint statement from the Association for Progressive Communications, with Access Now, EFF, and Palestine Legal, among others, calling for these sanctions to be lifted and demanding big tech accountability for human rights violations in Palestine. Last but not least, our Senior Policy Council released a report on the impacts of SESTA FOSTA, a poorly thought out Trump-era internet bill that claimed to curb sex trafficking. Sex worker groups, advocacy orgs, and human rights defenders at the time warned Congress that this would have disastrous effects and not actually help people impacted by sex trafficking. And they were right. The report details what we've learned about SESTA FOSTA, how it destroyed online resources and lifelines for vulnerable and marginalized communities, including LGBTQ youth. This same frame is why we believe that repealing Section 230 or passing something like the Kids Online Safety Act is the absolute wrong frame for how to address online safety. We've seen how it went with SESTA FOSTA, and we don't believe in repeating mistakes just for the sake of passing laws. Congress needs to be held accountable for not listening to us about the dangers of SESTA FOSTA and continuing on with legislation like COSA when we know how SESTA FOSTA impacted marginalized people online. You can check out the report at the link in our bio and learn more about how to combat bills like SESTA FOSTA at badinternetbills.com. As always, if you're fired up about these issues and want to channel your outrage into real political action, click the link in our bio and follow us to learn more. Solidarity, y'all.